All right, so welcome to part 2 on this N54 engine build that we're going to be doing. As you can see, we pull the engine out of the car. We have it up on the engine stand. So what we're going to do now is, if we take a look at the front of the block over here, we still have to remove our tensioner assembly, alternator, power steering pump is off, AC compressor, a couple of these pulleys. We still have the water pump over here. So this is what an N54 water pump looks like. It's a spaghetti mess, coolant hoses and thermostat hoses. So pull that off. We have our oil drain here from the single turbo kit that was on the car. We're going to pop that off, take off our bracket for our engine mount over here, high pressure fuel pump, vacuum pump, and then we can go ahead, remove our crank pulley, drop the oil pan, drop our actual windage tray, pull the bed plate, pull the crankshaft, and then remove our connecting rod caps, knock our rods and pistons out, pull the crankshaft out, and we're going to show you guys today, fingers crossed, exactly what that cause of failure was. So let's get to it. All right, so we got that block completely torn down. We got all the accessories removed. And here's what we're working with now. So Lisa's going to go ahead and release the bed plate now. We pulled out the rods and pistons. We got the crank removed. So now, pick up the bed plate, remove the crankshaft, and I'll show you guys what we found so far. All right, here we go. So the bed plate's off. There we go. Bed plate's off. Wow. Number one main don't look too good. A lot of wear on these bearings, guys. We'll get to that in a second. And here we have our crankshaft. Don't use silicone, guys. Look at this, man. Don't use silicone on your rear main seal. So, no crazy damage. No chunks of metal came out. Oil was black, and definitely had some very tiny medical particulate in there. Now, we're going to go ahead and she's going to pick this crankshaft up.
Try.
You got it. It's not that heavy.
I love how you say that every single time.
You got it.
Gunky as hell.
We didn't remove the crank hub yet, so we're going to do that on the bench. Spin it.
Spins.
There we go. All right, pick it up.
No, just can't get the back end.
Locked in there almost?
Yeah, the back is, I think,
Hold
because
on.
of the silicone.
Do me a favor. Bring this journal toward me so I can get my special tool in there. All right. Special tool. Ready?
Hold on.
One, two. Okay, there you go. You got it?
Maybe.
Remember, watch that. You got the whole chain and guide rail in there.
Can you pull that up while I hold this?
Yeah, I mean, do you have it though? Because
I got this. Go.
okay. Okay, there we go. Crankshaft's out. Now, what we're going to do for you guys on camera is remove the mains from the block side, mains from the crank over there, and then we'll spin this block right side up and show you guys the damage on number 4, and then we'll show you the piston and the piston rings on number 4.
Yeah, if you want to come over here, you can from this side.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough with the light, so we'll wait till we flip this thing over. All right, let me grab a rag, and then we'll start pulling these mains out, and we'll flip this block upside down. All right, so let's start pulling these main shells out on the block side. So this is number 1, right? Yep. Don't look too good.
This one, 7 doesn't either.
Not too bad. Let me see the, all right, it's got some wear, but nothing crazy, yeah. Kind of normal for 100,000 miles to have some wear on these shells. So what I'm going to do is put these over here from 1 to 7. 1, 2.
Dropped it. This is 6.
Okay. We got 3 here. 2, 3.
This is a thrust.
It's a thrust. This one might need some
There you go.
persuasion to come out. Not necessarily. Here's our thrust.
This one has more wear if you look
Yeah,
over there.
I'm starting to think that maybe a majority of that particulate we saw in the oil was actually from our bearings. Now on our crank side, did you pull them off yet or no? Oh, they're in the bed plate. All right, can we lay this flat?
Yeah.
Put it over the pistons or junk for now. Lightly, okay. Wow. So you can actually see, I'll get a rag real quick, guys, to show you here. You can actually see the difference in color here. This is position number 1, I believe.
That is 1.
Yeah. You see that, right? So this part of this crank got a little hotter.
Look.
Wow. Let's pull the rest out.
Go towards you.
See some. So nothing crazy. This is one. Okay, let's put that here. Let's go to number 2.
This one has hold on, I'll show you.
Okay.
Look at this wire. So that line straight
Yep.
across.
Was that? No.
6.
Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to do this one-handed. Easier with 2 hands. 3. Okay. Thrust. So far the good news is, guys, we have no damage done to our bed plate. So that's good.
Yeah,
but
it seems like across all of them, they have the same wear.
Definitely gonna have to get this line honed. Big problem in the N54, guys. A lot of you guys are doing engine rebuilds. You're not line honing for the mains, and these N54s are notorious for being out of round. I'm talking Easter egg shaped. So you want to make sure that you properly line bore for your mains when you do an engine build. Obviously, we have to measure our crank to make sure that this crank is good. I don't see any crazy discoloration, so things didn't get too hot. We will be throwing this stock crank hub in the garbage, by the way, and going with a 2-pin crank hub. And the reason behind that is less room for error when drilling 2 holes, even with a jig. And for the power level that we're shooting for on this car on 700, we don't have to worry about necessarily needing a 4-pin crank hub. So before we get to the pistons, we're going to flip this block right side up and show you guys number 4. There we go. Keep going. There we go. Lock it right there.
Hold on. Yep.
Cool. 1, 2, 3. Let me get a rag. All right. It's going to be really hard to see with the light here, guys. And there it is. I might have to get a flashlight for you. But we got some normal wear on everywhere else. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Normal wear on our thrust axis. Non-thrust axis, we can actually still see the crosshatch, which is good. You know, all things considered, that's not horrible. So right there it is. All right, I'll try to B-roll some nice pictures in here for you guys to see. But
if you come and look on this side.
All right, so this is definitely, yeah.
Even number 3 has it.
Yeah, not as bad though.
Oh.
Yeah, no, but you can't really, I don't feel that. So.
Yeah, feel here.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, right here.
Wow. So, that's a damage we have in our liners, guys. In part 3, we'll go over in great detail. Open deck, closed deck, why you should never run epoxy to close the deck, and also sleeves, what you can do, what you cannot do, if you should ever need to actually sleeve an N54, which can be done, but there's very few machine shops that can actually press these sleeves in, and there's only 2 different types of sleeves that you can run manufacturer-wise in an N54. Otherwise, the big problem we have is our clearances in relation to our water jackets. It's just the N54. I know I joke a lot and say, you know, it's very similar to an N55, and it's very similar to an S55 too, but that clearance in the water jackets are very tight. So you definitely don't want to bring this to any Joe Schmo and then have a sleeve drop and have to pull the engine back out of the car. So now let's go over to our pistons. And this is why I told you guys, as much as I wanted to not assume, but as much as I wanted to tell you 1, 2, 3, 4 that our cause of failure was in fact a piston ring, and I said we can't confirm that until we pull this puppy out, right? So here's number 4, and unfortunately, this is why I always preach tear down, tear down, tear down. No one has x-ray vision. Our piston rings, technically, the ring lens look fine. The rings look fine. We're going to pull these out, but so far it does not look like any of these rings failed and caused that damage. Now, if we look at this piston here, you'll see from the factory, these are stock pistons, stock rods. BMW marks right here, 83.967, which means that this is 84 millimeters. So if you want to get specific here, 83.967 millimeters, okay? So this marking sits on the passenger side on the block, okay? So our damage we had here that was really severe was right about here. Let me show you. So it's going to sit in here like so, right? And that 83 is going to be on the passenger side, and that damage is right about here. We can actually see the piston. Look, it's going to be horrible to see in this. I'm not using the cinema camera, guys. I'm using a little, not a GoPro, DJI. So even though it's 4K, it's that voodoo 4K. It's not that good. Right there, you see it? You can feel it right there. Wouldn't consider that a damaged ringling, but that's the actual, that's right.
It's the piston.
No, I know, but the ringlings look fine.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to chalk this up to debris that entered through our oil system and or combustion chamber at some point. And that debris scored our liner. Now, I believe you pulled off the connecting rod bearings, right? No? Where are they? Oh, cool. All right, just pop one off real quick, because these bearings were just done.
Supposedly.
No, they were. The bearings were just done. They do look new. But let's pull them off real quick. Show you guys what we're dealing with. Cool.
Just have to unscrew both sides. Just trying to push it out.
And if, you know, this is your first time watching, guys, and you want to learn about the N54, these rods are cracked, all right? So fracture connecting rods means that our cap will only correspond to one rod, and so on and so on.
These are ACL standards.
Okay, cool. So they were done. But we do have, look at that. We're down to the copper here. We're down to the copper. Wow. This bearing's actually damaged. Wow, that bearing's damaged. All right, don't pop any more because I want to label these for the customer.
I'm just taking this.
We can actually see, so this is all metal debris.
That's the upper shell.
That got impregnated into this shell.
This one too.
Let me see. Whoa. Things got really hot here, guys. I can see the copper.
That's number 4.
Wow.
Rod,
Wow.
if you look, the rod looks also.
Rod's okay. Yeah, the rod's okay. But we're going to throw these right in the garbage anyway, so we're utilizing mainly in the bottom end. Our biggest thing now is going to be measuring. All right, and I'm actually going to show you guys how to use an ultrasonic sensor to measure our distance to our water jackets from our liner. But our biggest task right now is going to be to ensure this liner is not cracked, number 1. And number 2, if in fact we can definitely bore this out to 84.5. Anyone that eyeballs that and shoves their fingernail in there and says, yes, we can, they're number 1 bullshit guy. You have to use a dial bore gauge or to be able to measure to get your out of round. Once we determine that, we can make a final determination that we can go in here and bore this out to an 84.5. Drop in the rods and pistons. We're going with a fully built head, like a nice stage 2 head setup, short cams, Super Tech valve train components, titanium valve spring kit with the retainers, and OEM intake and exhaust valves. So
Valve guides as well.
yes. Now, in addition to that, we're also going to mull over the possibility of closing this deck, because at this point the cost is minimal, not with epoxy. No. We're going to properly close this deck off, and also get into detail with you guys why we're going to do that, since we have to bore this out to 84.5. If we were able to get away and do a quick hone and just drop in some stock bore pistons, then yes, maybe you can get away with keeping it open deck, but all things considered, it might be worth it at this point for the minimal cost to just go ahead and close the deck. We're on 84.5, MLS head gasket, Wagner tuning head studs, and send this bad boy and make her bulletproof for 700 to 800 to the wheels all day. So there it is, guys. There's our block. You know, we got to still remove the vacuum pump. Someone forgot that. Remove our oil squirters. And We will individually remove all the rings from these pistons for you guys. We'll take those wrist pins out, our wire clips out. We're going to fully disassemble everything here, see if there's anything else that we may have missed. This is what I was talking about before. This is similar to that consistency I saw up top in the head, which is metal. A lot of metal actually in this oil down in the front of this, back of the sump rather, on the oil pan. So, owner of this car took care of it, but he's not the first owner, so that's your first problem. You never know what you're getting. And then obviously we're going to measure our crankshaft too. We'll measure the mains. We're going to get this bed plate back on the blocks, torque it down, and we'll get some measurements for you guys and then send everything off to the machine shop. And then from there, it's going to be part 3, so stay tuned.